or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in Argentina, who has formally requested membership in the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade bloc that includes major economies such as Japan, Canada, Mexico, and Australia. The South American nation, currently facing triple-digit inflation and recession, views the CPTPP membership as a strategic opportunity to expand market access and strengthen international economic ties with the Asian Pacific region. Argentine officials are seeking to boost exports and foreign investment amid a painful economic crisis that has increased poverty levels. From Reuters, quote, Argentina's foreign minister Dina Mondino told reporters that the South American country, which is battling triple-digit inflation and recession, would formally request membership of the trade partnership. Joining the CPTPP would strengthen Argentine international economic integrations with a focus on the Asia Pacific, the ministry said in a statement, end quote. Next, we travel across the world to Africa, where the World Health Organization has confirmed 321 cases of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with an additional 116 suspected cases under investigation. From Reuters, quote, we are deeply concerned about the continued spread of Ebola and the devastating impact it is having on communities, the WHO said in a statement, quote, WHO officials are working closely with the DRC Health Ministry and international partners while emphasizing the need for continued support and resources to address this public health threat, unquote. Excuse me. Next, we travel back across the world to Cuba, who has defended its military-run GAESA after increased U.S. sanctions prompted major international hotel chains to leave the island. The conglomerate is facing the U.S. government that is accusing them of controlling significant portions of Cuba's economy, including tourism and revenues. Cuban officials argue that such sanctions harm ordinary citizens and the country's economic development. From Reuters, quote, the impact of these measures falls on the Cuban people who are deprived of basic supplies and the possibility of development, the foreign ministry said in response to the latest moves by the U.S., end quote. Next, across the Pacific, China's prolonged real estate downturn is now negatively impacting property service providers, an industry that had previously been resilient despite the sector's turmoil. As developers struggle with debt and incomplete projects, property management firms face declining revenues, falling share prices, and increased job losses. From Reuters, quote, China's property services providers are caught in the crosshairs of a protracted property crisis, with the downturn in the country's real estate sector spreading further down the supply chain and dragging down companies that have so far managed to weather the storm, end quote. Next, we travel south to Australia, where data center operator Megaport has secured 4 new contracts to supply AI infrastructure, prompting a significant boost in its expected annual earnings. The company expected it would raise $59.4 million through an institutional placement to help fund future growth. Following the announcement, Megaport's shares surged by as much as 16%, reflecting investor confidence in the push towards AI-related services. From Reuters, quote, the Australia's Megaport said on Monday it secured 4 new contracts to supply artificial intelligence infrastructure and would raise the rest of the money, capitalizing on more firms looking to ramp up their AI capability as growth in the sector picks up pace, end quote. And finally, we end today in Denmark, where the Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, has unveiled plans to expand Denmark's welfare system, focusing on healthcare, education, and elderly care. The proposal comes in defiance of of the U.S. President Donald Trump's criticism of European welfare models with high public spending. Frederiksen emphasized that the welfare system must be adapted to changing demographics and labor market challenges, asserting that a strong welfare state is essential for prosperity and security. From Reuters, quote, Prime Minister Frederiksen on Sunday unveiled plans to expand Denmark's welfare state, defying criticism of the president, Donald J. Trump, and said strong social policies were key to prosperity and security, end quote. And if you want to read any of today's articles in their entirety, you can find them down the link in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. And also, thank you for bearing through new recording location, so it's probably a little bit echoey. I'm going to try to do as much as I can on the back end, but I make no promises. So, with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die.